Hi, this is Marcus, and welcome to the Color Precision CP Kodak Overview. The film emulation software for Capture One accurately displays the Kodak color behavior, proper highlight roll-off, film-like density and saturation, consistent skin tones across sets, and cross-camera consistency. The Capture One catalog is required. The camera ICC profiles do not work in sessions. If you have a session and you import that session into your catalog, you will not have a problem being able to use the software inside of Capture One for that session that's been added to the catalog. If it's outside the catalog, it will not work. The emulations that are included are the Noritsu, which is a warm, neutral, medium contrast. You also have the Frontier, which is a cooler, punchier, more saturated look. And you also have the exposure-based film variants. This film emulation comes with several presets to allow you to enhance the realistic look of achieving that film emulation from Kodak. You're going to get presets for contrast, expired films to actually help you with color shifts. You're going to get a soft highlight for more smoother transitions. You're going to get film blur and film grain for analog texture. And you also get what we call AI masking presets for more fine control. This package also includes a special style brush for halation. This software is built on real data and scanner behavior. It delivers an authentic film color, and it gives you that digital flexibility to really go in and enhance the look that you want to get out of this software. The first thing I want to show you is how to install it. You would build under your style, and in your style, you would hit these three dots that I'm pointing to right now. When you click that, you would just hit Import Style and Style Brushes. And in there, you'll see two folders. You're going to see one for brushes, and you're going to see one for styles. When you go into the one for styles, you want to make sure that you're choosing the correct one for your camera. There are two style sheets that are not camera specific, which are film effects and AI masking. When we go back, they have one for brushes, and the only thing that is in the brushes is halation. Once you do that, it's going to install itself under custom styles. When you go to custom styles, you're going to see Color Precision AI masking, Color Precision film effects, and you'll see for the camera that you selected. Now, I happen to have two different cameras. I have the Lumix full frame camera system, and I'm using the medium format cameras from Fuji. So I installed both of those styles for my cameras. But prior to getting to this, what we want to do is do all of the raw editing first. And I am going to do all of my lens corrections. I'm going to go ahead and do all of my raw editing, and I'm going to go ahead and correct any exposure and my white balance prior to adding the film emulation on there. And through the power of video, I have made all of the necessary adjustments that I needed to make to this photo. If we go before, it shows you the before, how the photo looked before. This is after. I've made all of my adjustments. Before I do anything else, I'm going to go under the one that says Fuji, and we are going to choose which film scan we want to use. We can use the Frontier, or we can use the Noritsu. And they've been broken down into 25% increments, 25%, 50, 75, and 100. The reason for this is the way that it's adding the film emulation to the software. It is being added through an ICC file. And in Capture One, if I take you back to where the ICC file is located for me, which is under the base characteristics, they do not have an opacity slider for it. And so what the developer has done is actually break them down into 25% increments, going up to 100, to give you the choice of how strong you want the film emulation to come in. So we're going to start off at 50. And I'm going to use the Noritsu. And the reason I'm going to use that one is because this one is more warmer and neutral for the skin. The Frontier tends to be a little bit more punchy and a little bit more contrasty. So we're going to go with this one here. And as I roll over, what will happen is these looks will load into memory. and it will automatically start to display and showing me which one I want to choose, so I get to preview it before I select it. And now as I'm rolling over, you can see that I can look at the different ones and see which one I want to choose. I am a big fan of the ones for the Portra, and we also have the Ultra Max down here as well. So we'll go in here and I will choose, I like the way the Ectar looks. We're going to go with the Ectar plus 0 EV. So we're going to select that. And now that that's been selected, you can see that it places it up here. Now what it does is it goes and it replaces the ICC profile, and for Fuji, it actually replaces the film curve as well. But it did not do anything to my adjustments here. But when you go to the other styles, they behave a little bit differently. If I go under any of these film effects, as I roll over, you can see that they will actually show you. If I click this here, you can see that it applied it, but it did not give me an extra layer. And again, if you don't know where to, let's say if this comes in too strong and I don't want it to be that strong, you would have to find where this actually adjusted and you'd have to correct it. I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere near the curve. Yeah, so what they did was they lifted the curve in here, and you'd have to adjust this. Now, for some people, this is kind of daunting. They don't like to dive that far deep when they're going into editing. Experienced color graders like myself wouldn't have no problem being able to find it. But for most people, what I would recommend you do is to add it as a layer. So we can go back to the style, and I can go here. And if I go ahead and right click on this and say clear, it will take it off. And then I can go back to that film if I wanted this, right click on it, and I can add it as a new layer. When I add it as a new layer, now if it's too strong, I have the ability to go to the opacity slider and just dial it down without having to find out where the edit has been done to. So that's how I would actually recommend whenever you're applying any of the film styles, is to add it as a new layer. And that way you can identify where it is, and if you need to adjust it, you can. If you wanted to add some additional contrast, I would say do the same thing. Right click and just go ahead and add it as a new layer. I don't need to add any more contrast to this photo because I think that I have enough on here already. And when you go down to grain, now grain is a little bit different. Grain will not allow you to add it as a new layer, and this is the Capture One limitation. When you add grain, grain is always added to the base layer. So if I want to add some grain to this photo, when I go in here to add it, so let's say for instance I do grain 1. When I add this, it is going to add that grain 1 down on the base layer. And when I go to this, you'll see that it's using Silver Rich. The granularity is down to 20 and the impact is at 100. What I would recommend you do, we're going to keep some grain on this, and I would actually recommend that you adjust it accordingly. Now, the only limitation in grain that I see within Capture One and the grain within Lightroom is that it's monochromatic. It is not color grain. There are some applications, there are 2 applications that come to mind that allow you to have color grain that I know of, but Lightroom and Capture One are not. So the grain is monochromatic. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pull down the impact. I like to keep it below 40. So now that we go back to the styles, we've added those there. If you go down, we have some for soft highlights, so you can roll over and see what that's actually doing as well. If I want to add some soft highlights, let's go with soft highlight 2. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add it as a new layer. And when I go back in here, you'll see that it added it right at the top as a new layer. We've done all of the effects. Now they have one here, and it's for the AI masking. They have one that's called Subject Pop, and it has portrait enhancement. When you do portrait enhancement, if I go ahead and select this, this is going to create me some AI masking layers. So here, what this has done is this has actually masked the face and the body skin. So if I go here, you can see these have been individually masked. If I hit M, you can see exactly what they're masking based upon the AI, right? And you have to check it because it's not 100%. If you go back to body skin, what threw this off big time is that this is in shadow, and it has a very hard time of actually selecting skin that's in shadow. But if I wanted to be able to add to that, I could just go to the AI in here and just click right in with, if I just click right into the body, and if I hit that, now you'll see that all of that's been selected, okay? But what we're going to do, if there's some that you don't need, you can actually highlight them and go ahead and delete them because it creates them all to give you the flexibility of not having to do it. The easiest way to remove it if you don't need it is to go back to Styles and click on the Portrait Enhance, right click and do Clear. And so when we go back here, I've went ahead and did all of the adjustments that I need to do. This is for the subject prop. It does the same thing. If I go ahead and select this for subject, it's going to go ahead and create me an AI mask for the subject, which is right here where it says subject mask, and it does the background. So it does two things. It selects the background and it lowers the exposure for the background, and then it actually selects the subject. But I don't need these because I've already done that within my adjustment. I've already did my background scene, and I've selected the subject for the clothing and any other part that I needed to adjust the photo for. So again, the easiest way to remove it would be just go in here and right click and say clear, and they will be removed. And so the next thing for me to do would be able to go inside of the retouch, and we're going to go in 100%. And we're going to make these adjustments. So I'm going to tell it to do the neck along with the face area. We're going to remove any blemishes that's on the skin. As you can see, the blemishes are being removed. The software is doing a really good job. We want to even up the skin. We want to bring this up with texture a little bit more. We're going to add contouring, which is going to add it around the jawline, give me a little bit of contouring. The teeth are not showing, but the sclera and irises are showing. So I will push this up to lighten up the sclera, and then I will go to the irises and lighten up the eyes as well. And so now we have that look. I'm satisfied with this look. I like what I have here. And now if I want to apply this to the other photos, I just copy this up into memory. And then I just go and I select the photos that I want to place this on. If I hit that now, it's going to copy everything down to include those AI adjustments that I made as well. And there we go. We have two files that are identical as far as being able to batch process using that film emulation within Capture One. It works really, really well. If I go in and take a look at the highlights, if I go take a look at the layers, you can see that all the layers were actually created the way I wanted to. I would actually tell you to look at the background and hit your M key, because sometimes it selects stuff that should not be in the background. And now I want to remove the couch because the couch should not be there. And so what we want to do is make sure the couch is not there. And we're going to remove the leg that is in front. And also we're going to remove the carpet. And I'm going to go, and I'll leave and I'll remove it there, but I'll leave everything else in the shade. And so now when I take that off, you can see there's a whole different look. It matches this to the T. And then what I'll go back and do is I will go and select the other two files. Just make sure that the edit select is enabled. And I will select both of these files, and I will go ahead and push both of these down on the photo. We'll click back here. I'll make sure that it's selecting everything, which is true. So what I would do for this one here is just go into my AI and let's just unselect that white shirt because it doesn't need to be bright anymore. And now we got it the way that it should be. I can go back to this one here where the shirt is still a bit too white and do the same thing. Hit this here. Let's take this off. And then we can go and we're going to add this coat to it. And then take that off. And now we can see that everything matches up. And we've gotten our looks just from doing the one. We've went ahead and we've edited 4 photos. And all 4 photos have a consistent look. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. And I'm going to bring you more tutorials similar to what you just saw. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button and click the notifications.